Welcome to Books for Success. Today, we're delving into The Wisdom Within, Anatomy of Desire, by Dr. Emily Jamea. Anatomy of Desire reveals the science-backed principles that transform ordinary physical connections into extraordinary experiences of intimacy. Through real stories of couples facing familiar challenges, you'll discover practical ways to deepen satisfaction and unlock your natural capacity for profound connection. These proven approaches will help you create meaningful physical experiences that grow richer and more fulfilling over time, regardless of relationship length or current circumstances. Before we begin, subscribe and ring the bell for notifications if you want to keep receiving the knowledge of book summaries about health, wealth, love, psychology, and much more. Don't be shy about dropping your book suggestions for us to summarize. Also, you can use this video as an audiobook summary. Let's grow and succeed together. What's in it for me? Activate your body's inbuilt blueprint for pleasure. Your body holds natural wisdom about pleasure and connection. Every touch, every breath, every moment of closeness carries potential for deeper meaning. While modern life often pulls attention towards screens and schedules, your capacity for profound physical connection remains present, waiting in the background. Research shows that your nervous system already contains everything needed for extraordinary intimate experiences. It just needs the right conditions to flourish. This summary reveals 5 essential qualities that transform physical connection, illustrated through real couples facing familiar challenges. Through these stories and insights, you'll learn how to tap into your natural capacity for meaningful connection, building relationships that grow richer and more fulfilling over time. Rather than offering quick fixes or complicated techniques, this exploration shows how understanding just a few core principles can awaken deeper levels of intimate experience. Chapter 1: Finding Presence Through Physical Awareness. Your body knows what brings joy and pleasure, it always has. From birth, you're wired to experience life through touch, taste, sight, sound, and smell. But daily distractions pull many people away from these natural sensations, leaving them disconnected from their deepest physical experiences. They end up lacking physical awareness. Take Nina and Lucas. Their story shows what happens when we lose touch with our physical selves. Something was missing in their physical connection. Lucas spent his days trading energy markets, staring at 6 screens of flickering numbers, barely moving except to tap keys and click mice. Over time, he started looking down or away during intimate moments with Nina. She missed those early days when his eyes would meet hers, full of warmth and desire. Their evenings became separate phone-scrolling sessions in the same room. The solution came from an unexpected place: a rowing boat. Lucas picked up his old hobby again, and something beautiful happened. The water splashing against his oar, his breathing falling into rhythm, the cool morning air. These simple sensations woke up his sleeping senses. Each stroke required his full attention: the catch, the drive, the finish, the recovery. No phones, no screens, just pure movement and presence. As his body came back to life through rowing, his connection with Nina grew stronger too. What does personal body awareness have to do with connecting with someone else? Research provides clear answers. The typical office worker can only focus for 11 minutes straight before getting interrupted. After that break, it takes 25 minutes to get back into the zone. No wonder it's hard to switch from a busy workday to an intimate evening. Your brain needs time to slow down and tune in. Consider what happens during a simple touch. Your body releases oxytocin, which scientists call the bonding hormone. This starts a chain reaction of good feelings through dopamine and serotonin, while lowering stress hormones like cortisol. But here's the catch: this only works with true presence. If thoughts drift to tomorrow's meetings during a partner's hug, those chemicals don't flow the same way. Building physical awareness starts small: eating without screens, tasting each bite fully, exercising in silence, just feeling the movements. For Nina and Lucas, these little changes made a big difference. Lucas started looking into Nina's eyes more during conversations. At night, he held her close again, something that had stopped years ago. These simple moments of connection opened the door to deeper physical intimacy. And this shows how small acts of presence can transform a relationship. Through daily practice of sensory awareness, anyone can rediscover their natural capacity for deep physical connection. Chapter 2: Rekindling Wonder in Long-Term Love. The path to deeper intimacy requires more than physical connection, it needs curiosity. Research shows that passion thrives when couples maintain genuine wonder about each other, even after years or decades together. This quality of attention goes beyond simple interest. It requires an active engagement with your partner's evolving nature. Let's look at Naomi and Richard's story. From the outside, their life seemed perfect. Rewarding careers in technology and architecture, a sun-filled home in the suburbs, and a stable 12-year marriage. Then Richard kissed an old colleague at a conference in Seattle. This moment revealed something important: they had stopped exploring each other's worlds. Their carefully structured life had squeezed out essential parts of who they were. Naomi no longer touched her oil paints, her canvases gathering dust in the garage. Richard stopped planning weekend adventures, his hiking boots untouched for seasons. Their relationship had become another. Let's look at Naomi and Richard's story. From the outside, their life seemed perfect. Rewarding careers in technology and architecture, a sun-filled home in the suburbs, and a stable 12-year marriage. Then Richard kissed an old colleague at a conference in Seattle. This moment revealed something important: they had during weekly therapy sessions, something unexpected emerged. Both felt surprised, and secretly intrigued, by Richard's kiss. Instead of letting this moment break them apart, they used it to rebuild their connection. They started having real conversations about their desires, often lasting late into the night. Together, they created new boundaries that allowed for playful flirtation with others, while staying committed to their marriage. These conversations revealed years of unspoken wishes and hidden dreams. Here's where science helps explain their experience. Psychologists have found that people feel most engaged when facing challenges just slightly above their current abilities, specifically, 4% higher. Think about learning to dance. If the steps feel too easy, you get bored. If they feel too hard, you give up. The same applies to relationships. Some couples try too much too fast, like jumping into extreme experiences without building trust, and retreat in fear. Others stay so comfortable they lose their spark, letting routine replace exploration. For Naomi and Richard, this meant taking small steps toward growth. They shared fantasies they'd kept private, starting with simple desires and gradually revealing deeper wishes. They returned to personal interests that made them fascinating to each other again. These changes brought back the excitement of really living. Their experience shows us something valuable: great physical connection doesn't come from following specific steps or rules. It grows from staying genuinely interested in your partner's changing wishes, concerns, and hopes. When partners create space for this kind of exploration, they engage in an ongoing experience of discovery together, where each day brings potential for new understanding and deeper connection. Chapter 3: The Art of Relationship Resilience. Life's major transitions can challenge even the strongest intimate connections. When significant changes arrive, whether through parenthood, health issues, or other circumstances, couples need more than curiosity to maintain their physical bond. They need adaptability. Consider Sydney and Shane's experience after welcoming their first baby. Their previously passionate connection began falling apart in ways they never expected. Shane started experiencing anxiety about his performance in bed, something entirely new for him. Every attempt at intimacy became stressful as he worried about maintaining his erection or finishing too quickly. Meanwhile, Sydney faced her own challenges: physical pain during sex after her difficult delivery, plus bone-deep exhaustion from midnight feedings that left her feeling disconnected from her body. Like many new parents, they first tried fixing these issues with purely practical solutions. Shane visited his doctor for medication. Sydney scheduled appointments with specialists about her pain. But these fixes didn't address their deeper needs. Everything changed when their therapist suggested reimagining intimate connection. Instead of viewing sex as a path toward intercourse and orgasm, they expanded their definition of physical closeness. They started with gentle back rubs, soft caresses, holding each other close, all without pressure about where these touches might lead. Some evenings focused entirely on Sydney's pleasure. Other nights centered on emotional connection through quiet conversations while lying skin to skin. This new approach challenged a common belief about desire, that it must happen spontaneously to be real. Research tells a different story. Couples who maintain passionate long-term connections often plan their intimate time. Sydney and Shane began setting aside weekly connection hours, but with an important difference: they removed all expectations about what should happen. Sometimes these sessions evolved into sexual activity. Other times they spent the hour sharing deep conversations or simply breathing together. The power of this method came from prioritizing pleasure over performance. Rather than recreating their pre-baby sex life, they discovered new forms of intimacy. They expressed their needs clearly, checked in regularly about what felt good, and adjusted based on their energy and comfort levels. They also created daily practices to support their connection. Quiet cuddles before their baby woke up became sacred time. Regular check-ins about physical and emotional needs became routine. These elements didn't reduce spontaneity. Instead, they built a foundation of trust that allowed natural moments of connection to flourish. By embracing the need to evolve and discover new ways of connecting, Sydney and Shane built an even stronger bond. Most importantly, they learned that sexual satisfaction comes from staying flexible and responsive to each other's needs as life changes. Yet this kind of flexibility requires something fundamental: the courage to be seen, to be known, to be vulnerable. Let's continue. Chapter 4: When Walls Come Down. When we examine what makes physical intimacy truly meaningful, one quality stands out above all others: vulnerability. While many view vulnerability as weakness, research shows it forms the foundation of our deepest connections. This truth becomes especially clear in the bedroom, where emotional walls can block physical pleasure, no matter how technically perfect the encounter might be. Consider Darius and Iman's story. As a successful energy trader, Darius had mastered emotional control, wearing it like armor. His childhood in a rough neighborhood, marked by an absent father and an overworked mother, taught him that vulnerability meant risking survival. This approach served him well professionally but created invisible walls in his marriage. During intimate moments, his body participated while his emotions stayed locked away. He barely made eye contact with Iman, pulling away quickly after physical release. She felt more like a transaction than a partner, sensing the emotional distance even in their closest moments. Through therapy, they uncovered the roots of this pattern. Darius exhibited sealed-off sex, using physical connection for tension release while maintaining emotional distance. Iman, however, yearned for synchrony sex, those moments when emotional and physical intimacy blend, creating deep connection through shared vulnerability. Their path to change began with practicing eye contact during everyday moments. For Darius, looking into Iman's eyes for even 30 seconds felt overwhelming at first. But as he practiced, something unexpected happened. He started connecting with memories of his younger self, the boy who needed to appear tough to survive. He discovered that showing vulnerability to Iman actually created safety rather than danger. This growing sense of security led to a breakthrough. Like a rock climber trusting their equipment to move freely, Darius found that feeling emotionally secure allowed him to let go during intimate moments. He stayed present with Iman instead of mentally checking out. He began sharing his fears, wishes, and deepest feelings. Their physical connection transformed as their emotional walls came down. The process unfolded gradually, in layers. It started with small moments of emotional risk, admitting uncertainty or expressing a hidden desire. As each vulnerable moment met with care, their trust deepened. This created an upward spiral. Every time Darius opened up and found support, he felt safer taking the next step. Meanwhile, Iman's patient presence provided the acceptance he needed to keep growing. Their experience reveals something essential about physical intimacy. It flourishes when we bring our whole selves forward, both strong and soft, controlled and surrendered. When couples create space for this range of expression, they discover a depth of connection that goes far beyond physical pleasure. They find what many seek but few achieve: true erotic intimacy built on emotional courage and trust. This kind of vulnerable connection requires practice and patience. Yet as Darius and Iman discovered, the rewards extend far beyond the bedroom, enriching every aspect of their partnership with authentic presence and deep understanding. Their story shows how emotional openness lays the foundation for something even deeper, which we'll get into next. Chapter 5: Finding Flow in Intimacy. When couples develop the ability to deeply tune it to each other, they transform ordinary physical connection into something extraordinary. Their synchronization goes beyond basic emotional openness. It creates a dynamic of mutual awareness that can turn even simple touches into rich experiences. This is the power of attunement. Sloane and Cameron's story illustrates this power perfectly. As a lawyer and NASA engineer respectively, they approached their sexual difficulties with analytical minds. They excelled at kissing, their bodies naturally finding rhythm in these moments, but full sexual encounters felt awkward and disconnected. They'd read countless books on technique, attended workshops, and practiced all the right moves, yet something vital was missing. Their attempts at connection felt more like following a technical manual than sharing a natural dance. Everything changed when their therapist suggested an ancient Buddhist practice: approaching each moment with fresh eyes, like seeing snow for the first time. Rather than following mental checklists, they learned to slow down and truly sense each other. Simple exercises became powerful tools: sitting face to face, feeling heartbeats, matching their breathing. Scientific studies show that couples who achieve this physical harmony, where heart rates and breathing naturally align, experience notably stronger physical connections. The science behind this synchronization reveals something remarkable. Special brain cells called mirror neurons activate when we deeply connect with another person. These neurons allow us to physically experience what our partner feels. When couples achieve deep attunement, their nervous systems create a beautiful biological dance together. For Sloane and Cameron, reaching this state meant releasing their analytical approach. They stopped planning each move and started trusting their body's natural wisdom. Rather than trying to recreate past experiences, they allowed each encounter to develop uniquely. In these moments of natural flow, time seemed to shift, sometimes expanding, sometimes condensing, as they became fully present with each other. This deeper awareness transformed their entire relationship. Throughout the day, they began noticing subtle signals in each other: a change in breathing, a meaningful pause, a slight shift in posture. Small moments carried rich meaning. Their connection grew stronger not through effort or technique, but through learning to move in natural harmony. Their story reveals a fundamental truth about lasting physical connection: it flourishes not through mastering specific methods, but through a deep awareness that allows two people to move as one while maintaining their individual essence. When partners reach this level of attunement, they discover that passion emerges naturally from being fully present and exquisitely aware of one another. Final words. In this summary, you've learned that your body naturally knows how to create extraordinary connections. It just needs the right conditions to flourish. Profound physical connection grows from 5 fundamental qualities: sensory awareness, curiosity, adaptability, vulnerability, and attunement. Each quality builds upon the last, creating deeper levels of intimate experience. By understanding and developing these essential qualities, you can tap into your natural capacity for pleasure and create relationships that grow richer and more satisfying over time. Thanks for being part of our insightful voyage. If our summary piqued your interest, we encourage you to dive into the complete book for a deeper understanding. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more content if you're new here, and share it with others who might find it valuable. Keep on reading, discovering, and advancing until our next adventure.